Hello, hello, everyone. It's Angela and
Kristen.
okay. Good to be back. Today is kind of like a light and fluffy. Last week we got kind of hot and heavy, starting still yet light conversation around opening up comfort around political conversation.
Hard conversation.
Yeah, but still, I think what has been made hard. So this week, we're going to just kind of keep it light, and we're going to do a business update for you. And it's probably almost about halfway through the year for us in terms of we're definitely at this point looking to the remainder of the year. How are things going? What have we accomplished in terms of goals? What are goals that we still have to accomplish? What's going right? What's not going so right? What are some pivots that we need to make at this stage? And there has been quite a bit of learning in this first half of the year for us. It's a very different year, and every year, of course, as I think a small business owner, there's always every single year of your business. One, it moves crazy fast, and two, you're facing different challenges.
You're always learning.
Absolutely. And this year in particular, and I'll give kind of a very brief update, I would point you to an earlier business update we did in the year, so you can kind of look to that video if you need a point of reference, where we talked about, it was more focused on like everything that transpired in 2021 and then what we were planning on doing in 2022. So it'll hopefully give you a good reference point for this, but kind of bottom line for us, 2021 was a very good year. We were very fortunate that we were only affected by the pandemic and the shutdown back in 2020 for a fairly brief period of time, about 3 months. In that time, through the end of 2020, we were laser focused on, one, protecting our team. And again, I'll point you to our COVID story if you want more details about how we navigated the pandemic that year. But by the time that we got to like November of 2020, business was really picking up quite a bit.
It was starting to come back around.
Yeah. Well, and also, I think it was this realization that like so many businesses who had avoided working remotely were now forced to be in that situation, and coming up with innovative solutions, especially around the challenges of hiring, were more in demand than ever. And so we really had a great offering. We continue to have a great offering. I continue to have tremendous confidence that when it comes to supplemental needs for recruiting, we are the best option, like absolute confidence in that. And we continue to prove that every day, when it comes to our clients. So, then kind of bringing forward a little bit into 2021, things were tracking in such a positive direction for us that we actually launched a new division of our business called soon to be called, instead of Virtual Support Services, we're going to get a little bit more specific with the name, which is Virtual Administrative Services. We actually launched that back in March of last year. And we were really hoping that the same kind of innovative approach was going to really take off like wildfire, but that one's been much more slow going in terms of getting that business picking up. And we've had a couple contracts, but like not the rate of speed of growth that we're looking for. And I think a lot of that had to do with, one, going through significant growth in 2021 and picking up new hires,
right.
Developing, training, continuing in this very strong mindset of one of our tenets in our business is learning. We were continuing to like develop and train, cross train, move people into new roles. And then that really pushed us forward then to 2022, where we're now moving into a new level of business. We were coming into the new year with, over 20 employees. Mm-hmm. We had literally more than doubled in size since 2020. And, we were, having for the first time in the history of our business, hiring people to singular operational positions as a W-2 employee with benefits. And so we had always been in a model where people had, in order to be a W-2, you had to be in two different roles. One was a production-based role, and then the other half could be operational. So this was a big, expensive step forward for us. And, and so I think a lot of, honestly speaking, of what we've been experiencing so far this year has been a lot of growing pains. Mm-hmm. It's been...
The more people you have, also
Yeah.
the more of a need there is for the operational roles.
Absolutely. Our people need to be taken care of. So really building out our human resource and people function within our business, needing other people who have knowledge and expertise beyond what we already have, whether that's in the form of marketing, whether that's in the form of technology, whether that's in the form of finance or legal. So really needing to continue to bring in either consultants or full-time employees into positions that we've kind of, Krista and I have maxed out our knowledge and talents in. Also, like wanting to continue to take advantage of talents of the people that are on our team. We're very fortunate. We get some super talented people that come into our sourcing position, of which you don't really have to have any background in recruiting or HR to come into, because we train everybody from the ground up in terms of like a real grassroots effort in that position. So, we've really just gone through so many growing pains, but like it's just like the term is, you're growing and it's a little painful along the way.
Yeah.
To do that. So we definitely have our challenges right now. Definitely some stressors that are happening there, because I think our biggest learning takeaway this year was, whoa, we put on some COVID weight, maybe literally, and also like with the business, right? When we were in this like protect the team, oh, we got to grow the team, we never really got back to our pandemic lean structure, pre-pandemic lean structure. And we really needed to, we're realizing, especially these last couple months as we continue to look through the rest of the year, oh geez, like we need to get there, and we need to get there quick.
I think because, as I was sharing earlier, during the pandemic, we didn't have a whole lot of production work and a whole lot of clients as far as work to do. So we really put all of our resources towards growing operations, revamping our training program, revamping our websites, things like that, to really prepare for when business did pick back up again, to be able to take our business to the next level. And, as things have started to change for the positive, we're like, okay, we really need to get down to making sure we're always keeping our eye on running as lean as we possibly can as we're continuing to grow the business, because it is a little bit painful sometimes, like Angela said, with growing pains.
Yeah. And I also think true business, like, and I send this message out there to anybody who is contemplating starting your own business. I send this message also out to anybody that has just started their own business. The number one character trait that anyone needs to have even a remote chance possibility of running a successful small business is resilience.
For sure.
If you are somebody who it will just beat you down so hard, if you have the ebbs and flows of a business, like a few months of the year, things could be going really well. And then a few months of the year, money could be super tight. And if that is just, beating you down to the point that you're panicking, is running a small business yourself up to you. I mean, good fit for you. Chris and I, we've had, literally right before this live video, we had a conversation, and I said, don't forget, no matter how stressful it is, you're not alone. We literally have a whole leadership team, and we've got a whole encompassing team that genuinely care about this team being successful and looking out for each other. And, at the end of the day, everybody on this team is also going to genuinely care about the stability of their own employment. So there's a lot of people here that really care about together being successful, but it takes time to get there. The reality was, when I started this business, it was me. It was me and me. And then it was, and then it was me, and then a little bit of Kristen, and then a little bit more of Kristen, and a little bit more of Kristen. And then, and then it was how many years into it before we had a third person on the team, and then a fourth person on the team. So you have to have the resilience and be thick-skinned and be okay with knowing that, it is unavoidable for things to get really stressful. Mm-hmm. It is unavoidable. If you are a caring person, you are going to worry about taking care of the people who work with you. You should care about that.
I'm also really proud of our resilience, because at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people, it was really survival of the fittest, a lot of businesses out there. And there were a lot of businesses who did the right things and had really unfortunate circumstances that were out of their control. So I want to clarify that. But there were also a lot of business owners who, when things got tough in their business because of the pandemic, the first thing they thought of was, who can I cut from my team? Instead of, okay, how can I cut myself first? Like Angela and I always reach into our own pockets first. And our main focus, we didn't sit down at the first table meeting and go, okay, who's going to go? Our first conversation was, okay, how are we going to make this work and keep everybody that we have? Because we really value these people and we really do truly care. I take it to heart, and I think that's kind of where some of the stress comes from. I take it to heart that every single person on our team is relying on me to get my job right and running this business. So,
and I mean, the other part was, it's also just smart business, which I think a lot of people learned the hard way this time. If their first move was to just let people go because they knew that their biggest expense, without question, is the cost of labor. You know, so they just kind of like, without really taking time to sit down and think this through, said that's our first go-to, is to let people go. Well, what was their game plan, if any at all, for when things started to get better? And I think that that's where we were at. We're like, hey, I think that there's a good chance that, yeah, we might have a slowdown for a few months, but things are going to pick back up again. And by the way, this was long before there was a word about any type of assistance coming from the government for small businesses. These were conversations Kristen and I were having in March of 2020 and April of 2020, when us, like a lot of other small businesses out there, we had signed contracts, we had near signed contracts that we were ready to get going and get started on in March, that literally came back. And the clients panicked and said, we don't know what's going on. This is new territory. We need to push the pause button on this. We don't know when we can start the contract, you know? So we were already having those conversations, and our conversations from moment one, and they continue to be, our focus right now is to take care of our team.
I think the care and the resilience affect each other.
Absolutely.
I'm resilient because I care. So.
Right. But I mean,
not I.
So, you know, that's kind of where we're at. I mean, again, it's kind of like a sweet and sour, I feel like, a little bit, because the sweet part is, like, we've built this incredible team that we're super proud of. We built out benefits, you know, bigger than what we did last year. We built out training and development more than what we did last year. I mean, every year we are definitely growing, and this year it was been a big operational growth year. But then the kind of the bittersweet component to all of this is, you know, there's definitely a lot of moments of stress and pain that go along with saying, well, none of these things can happen for free. You know, we've got to continue to grow. We've got to continue to bring on new business, as any business out there has to. The growth of business can never stop. You can never just stand still. There in the contract world, there's no such thing. Yeah, like there's no such thing as maintenance mode in contract world, because contracts are designed to start and to end.
Right.
So you have to constantly be out there on the search for new opportunities. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at. That's the business of it all.
Business is going good,
yes,
but it's hard. It's never easy, you know, and
yeah,
you just have to have the resilience to be able to push through.
We're also trying to identify the right timing to start up our new division of AIS, which is a really, really exciting, has tremendous opportunity attached to it. And we feel super confident in that. But again, everything comes down to timing. It comes down to, like, you know, knowing that you're going to be able to afford to make this investment.
Right.
And this is really, for us, it's the first real long-term investment that we're making, you know, that we're going to invest for 12 to 24, actually 18 to 24 months. We won't see a dime of return on that investment. And then we won't see it, you know, come back to us until like 24 months after the project had started. So this is a very different arena for us. You know,
every day is
we've been a pay as you go, because we never had debt coming into this business, you know, from 2012 to 2015, you know, really even all the way into 2020. Mm-hmm. Like, we never had debt, you know, that was associated with our business. So the idea of, like, taking money and investing it and not having that return happen month to month is going to be very different territory.
A whole new chapter.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out the timing for that.
But excited. You know, again, it's like, you know, we feel, I mean, I don't know about you, but I still feel super confident about what we're going to do. But I also get worried that there's a window,
right,
you know, that's there that could close on us. So, yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I always just we like to give these updates, you know, like I said, refer back to our earlier business update in the year, refer back to our COVID story. Don't hesitate to message us or comment if you are looking for, if you have questions or tips, or just looking for like perspective in terms of experience, if you yourself are looking into starting up your own small business, and always here and happy to like share our very vulnerable and candid experiences. And we hope that everybody has a chance to kind of take something away from these power women, as I like to call it, you know, getting out there into the business world and taking risks, and you know, really investing into our time and our money, and knowing our motivation ultimately is to like do good things in the world and make sure our families are taken care of. And you know, that's kind of the gist of it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Just as a reminder to you, if you do not currently subscribe to my YouTube channel, please go ahead, subscribe, like or dislike the video, comment. Would love to just get, you know, more engagement and interaction up. Share. Feel free to share the YouTube video, and invite, you know, other folks to come and kind of just see what's going on. I'll also let you know that we've got a lot of progress happening with my design series. So we are putting some finishing touches on the first episode of the design series. There's a 2-part introduction. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And it tells you all about this like crazy 6-phase, you know, renovation happening on my home. And then in addition to that, our process of an investment property, you know, and what happened with that, and, you know, the progress there. So go check that out, go subscribe, ring the bell as well. And guys, thank you again so much for your time, and we'll see you in our next video.
Thank you.